Hello everyone, I am B. Shobarani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College, Mysore, the Temple of Excellence. Dear 2nd PUC Biology students, hope you remember in my last session of this chapter called Human Reproduction, we learnt about two very important processes called spermatogenesis and oogenesis. That is, we learnt about a very important event of sexual reproduction called gametogenesis, which involves spermatogenesis and oogenesis. We also learnt about the role of hormones, namely the gonadotrophin releasing hormone for the process of spermatogenesis. We also learnt about the structure of the sperm. Then we moved on to study the schematic diagram or the schematic representation of a very important process called oogenesis, right? So in my today's session, session 3 of the same chapter called human reproduction, what I am going to deal with. So in today's session, you all will be learning about a very important process called menstrual cycle. Hope you remember in the first chapter called reproduction in organisms, you have studied about two types of reproductive cycles. One estrous cycle, the other one is called menstrual cycle. So it is the same process which I am going to discuss in today's session, that is menstrual cycle, followed by the process of fertilization, a very important second event of sexual reproduction. So here in this last session we dealt about the first very event of sexual reproduction called gametogenesis. In today's session we will be dealing with a very important event of sexual reproduction, that is insemination and fertilization, followed by the development of the zygote into a blastocyst and then attachment of the blastocyst to the endometrium wall called implantation. So all these are the concepts which I am going to cover in today's session. So let me begin with this today's session. So what is menstrual cycle? What is menstrual cycle? How do we define the word called menstrual cycle then? So it is a very important reproductive cycle seen in the female primates like monkeys, apes and human is called menstrual cycle. So what is menstrual cycle, children? The reproductive cycle seen in the female primates, whereas estrous cycle is seen in non-primates. Here it is seen in female primates. Examples, what are the examples? Monkeys, apes and human beings. So I repeat, menstrual cycle is the reproductive cycle seen in the female primates like monkeys, apes and human beings is called menstrual cycle. I think you all know that the onset of the first menstruation in the female when she attains puberty is called menarche. A very important process. So this menstrual cycle is an extended process between menarche and menopause. So these two words you have to remember. So what is menstrual cycle? It is an extended process between menarche and menopause. Right. Now let us see what is menarche. The onset of the first menstruation when the female attains puberty or maturity is called menarche. So the menstrual cycle will begin once the female attains puberty or maturity, and that is called menarche. The onset of the first menstruation is called menarche. Right. And in females, one ovum is released during the middle of each menstrual cycle. So only one ovum is released during the middle of each menstrual cycle, and that process of release of ovum during the middle of each menstrual cycle is also called as ovulation. Right. So what is menstrual cycle? It is a reproductive cycle seen in the female primates, namely like the monkeys, apes and human beings is called menstrual cycle. So the onset of or the beginning of the first menstruation in the females when she attains puberty is called menarche. And when a female attains an age of 50 years, then there is the cessation or stopping of this menstrual cycle where we use a word called menopause. So menstrual cycle is an extended process between menarche and menopause. So it is an extended process between menarche and menopause. As I said, in females, only one ovum, not more than that, only one ovum is released during the middle of each menstrual cycle, where you call that process of release of one ovum during the middle of each menstrual as ovulation, right? So moving on to the next very important process, that is when we deal with this same event called menstrual cycle. In human females, menstruation is repeated at an average interval of 28 to 29 days. So what is the duration of the menstrual cycle, children, then? So in females, that is in human females, menstruation is repeated at an average interval of 28 to 29 days. So the menstrual cycle is repeated with an average interval of how many days? 28 to 29 days. And the cycle of events starting from the first menstruation till the next one takes place is called menstrual cycle. So cycle means what? Repetition. So the cycle of events starting from the first menstruation till the next menstruation is called menstrual cycle. So what is menstrual cycle? It is the reproductive cycle seen in the female primates, and the cycle of events that is going to happen in the menstrual cycle starts from one menstruation till the next one is called menstrual cycle. And one thing you have to remember, children, menstruation will occur only if the released ovum is not fertilized. What do you mean by that? Menstruation will not take place if the ovum is fertilized with the sperm. It's a very, very important point to be noted. So menstruation will occur only if the released ovum is not fertilized. So lack of menstruation. So if menstruation does not take place in female, it's an indication of what? It is an indication of pregnancy, but at not all times. Sometimes females will come across certain disorders in the ovary like PCOD, polycystic ovarian disease, and due to this disorder or due to the abnormal release of this or due to the lack of ovarian hormones, then the female will not come across regular menstrual cycle. So that doesn't mean to say that she is pregnant, right? So maybe due to lack of some ovarian hormones, she may come across PCOD, and that may lead to what we call it as irregular menstrual cycle, right? But in general we say lack of menstruation is indication of what? Pregnancy. So I repeat once again. So in human females, menstruation is repeated at an average interval of 28 to 29 days. So the one menstrual cycle has an average of, what is the period? 28 to 29 days. And the cycle of events starting from one menstruation till the next one is called menstrual cycle. And as I said, menstruation will occur only if the released ovum is not fertilized. If it is fertilized, the female will not come across this very important cycle called menstrual cycle or menstruation. So lack of menstruation. What do you mean by lack of menstruation? If menstruation does not take place in the female, that is an indication of what? That is, she is pregnant. But as I said, in some exceptional cases it may not be the same. So moving on to the next very important events of menstrual cycle, right? You can see in this diagrammatic presentation of the various events during a menstrual cycle. Before I move on to this diagrammatic presentation, now let us know this menstrual cycle involves certain events, and these events are categorized into 4 very important events. So hope you have understood what is menstrual cycle, right? Now what are the important phases or the stages of menstrual cycle? One is called the menstrual phase. Second one is called the follicular phase. Follicular phase is also called as proliferative phase, right? So the menstrual cycle involves certain major events or phases, namely number 1 called the menstrual phase, 2 called the follicular phase, 3rd called the ovulation phase. It is also called as ovulatory phase also. A very significant phase of the menstrual cycle is the ovulatory phase, where the ovum is released, the female gamete is released. So it is a very, very important phase of the menstrual cycle. Next comes the 4th phase called luteal phase, which is also called as secretory phase. So I repeat, hope you have understood what is menstrual cycle. What are the major events of menstrual cycle? The major events of menstrual cycle are menstrual phase, follicular phase, which is also called as proliferative phase, then the ovulation phase, also called as what? Ovulatory phase. Then comes the last but one called luteal phase, which is called the secretory phase. Hope you can see in this diagram, actually the menstrual phase lasts for 3 to 4 days. So 3 to 4 days is called as the first phase, that is the menstrual phase. And after that, you can see here, from here to here, it is called the second phase, that is the follicular phase. 14th is very, very important, children. As I said, 14th is called the fertile period in the females, where the ovulation will take place. So in the middle of this menstrual cycle, which is called the 14th day, has a great significance in the menstrual cycle, where the ovum is released. So it is called the ovulatory phase. And thereon, from there, we have this, it is called as the fourth phase, that is the luteal phase. So first phase, 3 to 4 days is called, first 5 days you can call it as the menstrual phase. Then thereon the follicular phase, 14th day is called as the ovulatory phase, and till the 28th it is called the last phase, called the that is the luteal phase. Here you can see in the menstrual phase what happens. There is menstrual flow, and what happens in the follicular phase, there is increase of FSH and LH, the two very important gonadotrophins, that is luteinizing hormone and FSH hormone, thereby releasing or helping in secretion of more estrogen, which is very much important for the development of the follicles. So hence the name follicular phase, as here you can see the primary follicle will develop into a mature Graafian follicle. Here you can see the development of a mature Graafian follicle. Here you can see the rupture of the mature Graafian follicle, thereby releasing the ovum. Hence we call this, see you can see here in this line. And also you can see very important, LH and FSH increases to the maximum level. Hence this LH is called as LH surge, which is asked in the exam. What is LH surge? That is, FSH and LH will attain high peak, where on the 14th day of the menstrual cycle, thereby helping the rupturing of the Graafian follicle to release the ovum. So this is a very, very important question asked in exam for 1 mark. So what is LH surge? LH hormone attaining the maximum peak or high level on the 14th day of the menstrual cycle is called LH surge. Thereon you can see the luteal phase. So what will happen once the ovum is released? The leftover cells will get converted into what we call it as corpus luteum, which produces a very important hormone called progesterone, which is very much important for maintenance of the uterus and for the pregnancy also later on, right? So this is a very, very important hormone, ovarian hormone. So in this is a diagram which is very important for you all, which may be asked for your PU board examination. So you need to learn this diagram also. So as I said, menstrual cycle involves 4 major events. What are the major events? Menstrual phase, follicular phase, ovulatory phase and luteal phase. Now let us discuss one by one. So we'll move on to the first phase of the menstrual cycle, called the menstrual phase. So as I said, the menstrual cycle starts with the first phase called the menstrual phase, where we can see there is a menstrual flow occurring. So what happens in this menstrual cycle or menstrual phase of this menstrual cycle, where we can see there is menstrual flow. What is this menstrual flow? Why does it take place? Why does it occur? It occurs due to the breakdown of the endometrium lining of the uterus. Hope you all know that the uterus is lined by a layer called endometrium, which is very, very important, right? So here you can see in this phase, that is in the menstrual phase, there is a breakdown of endometrial lining of the uterus along with its blood vessels. Even the blood vessels are also broken down. Due to this, what will happen? There is release of liquid, which we call it as blood. And that liquid or blood passes through the vagina of the female, and it lasts for 3 to 5 days. And this whole thing we call it as the menstrual flow. So what is menstrual phase? It is the first phase of the menstrual cycle, which starts with what? Menstrual flow. What is this menstrual flow? Why does it occur? It occurs due to the breakdown of the endometrial lining of the uterus along with its blood vessels, because the blood vessels are also broken down. So what will happen? There is a release of liquid, and that liquid nothing is but we call it as what? Blood, that passes through the vagina. And this menstrual phase will last for how many days? Hope you remember in the diagram I told you, it lasts for 3 to 5 days. So that is the significance of menstrual flow. So menstrual flow is always followed by what we call it as menstrual flow, right? Hope you have understood what is the first phase of this menstrual cycle called menstrual phase. So menstrual phase will start with menstrual flow. Why does it occur? It occurs due to the breakdown of the endometrium lining of the uterus and its blood vessels. So what do you see? There is a release of liquid, and that liquid passes through the vagina, and it lasts for how many days? 3 to 5 days. So here, this is the first phase, that is what we call it as the menstrual phase, followed by the what you call it as menstrual flow. Moving on to the follicular phase. So here you can see the diagram of a TS of ovary showing different stages of follicular development. Hope you all know that the wall of the ovary is lined by germ cells, and they get converted into primary follicle into matured Graafian follicle. So this follicular phase is very important phase of the menstrual cycle, and here the secretion of two very important hormones, that is FSH and LH, will take place, and due to the increase of FSH and LH, which will also increase the follicular phase and stimulates the follicular development. So what will happen? So in this follicular phase, there is increase of the gonadotrophins, namely FSH and LH. So this increase in FSH and LH will stimulate what? Follicular development, help the follicles to develop, as well as help in the secretion of what? Estrogen, help in the secretion of the estrogen by the growing follicles. So two very important things takes place in this follicular phase. There is increase of gonadotrophins, namely FSH and LH, which in turn will stimulate what? Follicular development, which in turn also will help in secretion of what? Estrogen, a very important female, what you call it as ovarian hormone, by the growing follicles. So what will happen due to the increase of FSH and LH? Here you can see that the primary follicle in the ovary, here you can see the primary follicle in the ovary will grow to become a fully matured Graafian follicle. So the primary follicle will grow to become a fully matured Graafian follicle, and also you can see the formation of the endometrium. I think hope you remember in menstrual phase there is breakdown of the endometrium lining of the uterus, but here in this follicular phase you can see the regain or the reformation of the endometrium lining. That means to say it is going ahead with the next cycle, right? So these changes in the ovary and the uterus. So what are the changes you can see? The primary follicle will develop into fully matured Graafian follicle, followed by what? Followed by formation of endometrium. So what all happens in follicular phase, children? Here you can come across increase of FSH and LH, secretion of estrogen for the follicular development, and the primary follicle develops into fully matured Graafian follicle, along with followed by the formation of endometrium. And these changes in the ovary and the uterus is mainly induced by the pituitary and the ovarian hormones. Namely, what are the pituitary hormones? FSH and LH. Hope you remember the anterior pituitary produces two types of gonadotrophins, namely FSH and LH, and ovarian hormone is the estrogen. So this is the very important event of the menstrual cycle, that is about the follicular phase. Here you can see the mature Graafian follicle ruptures and there is a release of what? Ovum, and this is called as ovulation. Right. So the first phase is called menstrual phase and the second phase is called the follicular phase. Moving on to the third one, that is ovulatory phase. A very, very important event or significant phase of the menstrual cycle. As I said, it is also called ovulation, or it is also called ovulatory phase. Here you can see the structure of the ovum. So ovum is covered over by many membranes, which you don't see it in case of sperms. Membranes, like it is covered by a membrane called corona radiata and zona pellucida. Zona pellucida and the corona radiata are the very important membranes of the ovum. Here you can see the nucleus, that is a female nuclei, where the male nuclei will come and fuse with the female nuclei, resulting in the process of fertilization. Here both LH and FSH. What are these? LH is luteinizing hormone and FSH is follicle stimulating hormone, attain what? Maximum level in the middle of the cycle. On which day? 14th day. Hope you remember I showed you in the diagram. On the 14th day of the menstrual cycle, both LH and FSH attain maximum peak. So the secretion of LH and FSH will be too high, and as I said, it is also called as what? LH surge. LH surge takes place only in this phase, not in any other phase of this menstrual cycle. It's a very important point to be noted, children, right? Hope you are following me. So hope you are understanding the very important phases of menstrual cycle. First phase of menstrual cycle is the menstrual phase. Second one is the follicular phase or proliferative phase, and the third phase is called as ovulatory phase. What happens in the ovulatory phase? What happens here? LH and FSH will attain maximum peak, and because of the LH surge, what happens? This induces the rupture of the Graafian follicle. Then only you can come across the Graafian mature follicle rupturing, thereby releasing the ovum into the uterine tube, right? So hence this is also called as, so release of ovum is also called as what? Ovulation. So 14th day is a very, very important significant day of the menstrual cycle, where we also call it as a fertile period. If a female avoids coitus or intercourse during this particular period, then she can avoid unwanted pregnancy. So it's a very, very important phase of the menstrual cycle. Right. So what is ovulatory phase? What happens here? LH and FSH attain maximum level. On which day? On the 14th day of the menstrual cycle. Because of this, what will happen? There is a rupture of the Graafian follicle, thereby releasing the ovum where into the uterine tube. Right. Now, moving on to the last phase called the luteal phase. Here you can see in this diagram, I told you there is increase of, see here you can see FSH and LH is increased. Then this will induce what? The mature Graafian follicle to rupture, thereby release of what? The ovum. Hence it is called ovulatory phase. So you can see the pituitary, increase of pituitary and the ovarian levels. And you can see here in the follicular phase, the follicle, the primary follicle develop into the matured Graafian follicle, right? So what happens in this luteal phase? So after ovulation, the leftover cells, the ruptured cells of the Graafian follicle get transformed into what we call it as corpus luteum. So after ovulation, the ruptured part of the Graafian follicle transforms into corpus luteum, which secretes what? Large amount of a very important ovarian hormone called progesterone, right? And what is the importance of this progesterone then? This progesterone is necessary for the maintenance of the endometrium. So the endometrium has to be maintained properly in the uterus, which is very, very important, right? And in the absence of fertilization, suppose if the fertilization does not take place, then what will happen to this corpus luteum? This corpus luteum degenerates. I repeat, what happens in this luteal phase? After ovulation, the ruptured part of Graafian follicle transforms into a very important called corpus luteum. And this corpus luteum secretes what? Large amount of estrogen. And this estrogen is very important for what? For the maintenance of the endometrium. And what will happen in the absence of fertilization? The corpus luteum degenerates. And because the corpus luteum degenerates, this causes the disintegration of the endometrium. This causes the disintegration of the endo, that is again the next cycle follows, leading to the menstruation, forming, that is marking a new cycle. So again you can, this will lead to what? Lead to the first phase of menstrual cycle, that is menstrual phase, which is followed by what? Menstrual flow. And what is that menstrual flow? Breakdown of the endometrium wall along with its blood vessels, which lead to a release of a liquid called blood, which passes through the vagina, and it lasts for how many days? 3 to 5 days. So it will mark the next cycle. Hope you have understood what is luteal phase, right? So what are the 4 very important phases of menstrual cycle? One is the menstrual phase, follicular phase, ovulatory phase, and the luteal phase. Then moving on to a very important concept called menopause. Hope you have understood what is menstrual cycle and what are the 4 important phases of menstrual cycle. I said in the beginning that the menstrual cycle or menstruation is an extended cycle between menarche and menopause. Between menarche and menopause. Right. So what is menarche? Menarche is nothing but the onset of the first menstruation that occurs in a female when she attains puberty. The occurrence of the first menstruation or the menstrual cycle taking place, you call it as the menarche. The onset of first menstruation is called menarche, and the cessation or the stopping of the menstrual cycle is called menopause. So here the female attains puberty, and then it starts here. Menopause means what? When a woman attains an age of 45 to 55 years, then you find the stage where the menstrual cycle ceases or stops, and that phase is called as the menopause. So menarche and menopause is nothing but an extended phase between menarche and menopause. So it is extended between, menstrual cycle is extended between what? Or the reproductive phase is extended between menarche and menopause. A very, very important, it might be asked for 1 mark question. What is menarche or what is menopause? Hope you have understood these 2 terms, children. What is menarche? The onset of the first menstruation. What is menopause? Where the menstrual cycle ceases or stops, and it is around from the age between what? 45 to 55 years. Hope you have understood what is menstrual cycle and what are the 4 important phases of menstrual cycle. This is a very important concept for you all to learn, which is quite commonly asked in the PU board examination in your question paper. Now we'll move on to the next very important concept called fertilization. Right. Now let us see what is fertilization. What is fertilization? It is nothing but the process of the fusion of a sperm with an ovum, resulting in the formation of a diploid cell called zygote. We use the word called fertilization. So what is fertilization? It is the process of fusion of a sperm with an ovum. It's called fertilization. But what actually happens in this particular process called fertilization? During copulation or intercourse, the semen, as you know, what is semen? You have studied in the beginning of this chapter called human reproduction. Seminal plasma along with sperm is called semen, and this semen is released by the penis, which is the external genitalia of the male, into the vagina of the female. And I hope you remember when we discussed about the various events of sexual reproduction, one such event was insemination, or in simple terms, it is nothing but the transfer of sperms into the vaginal tract of the female is called insemination. So what happens during copulation or during intercourse? Semen is released. What is semen? The seminal plasma with sperm is called semen, which is released by the penis, that is the external genitalia of the male, into the vagina of the female, and that is called insemination. Right. After that, what happens now? The motile sperms, as you all know, the sperms are motile whereas the ovum is non-motile. So the motile sperms swim rapidly, pass through the cervix and enter into the uterus and finally reach a junction. Hope you remember the structure of the female reproductive system, where you come across a very, very important region called isthmus and ampulla. So it is called ampullary isthmic junction. This is a very, very important junction of the fallopian tube, or what we otherwise call it as what? Oviduct. Oviduct, or it is also called fallopian tube. So what happens here? First, what happens? What is fertilization? Fertilization is nothing but the process of fusion of a sperm with the ovum. So what happens? How actually this process of fertilization takes place? First, what happens during copulation or intercourse? Semen is released by the penis, and that semen moves into the vagina of the female, which you call it as insemination. Then what happens? The motile sperms swim rapidly, pass through the cervix, right, and enter cervix of the female and enter into the uterus and finally reach a junction. What do you call that junction? As ampullary isthmic junction of the fallopian tube, where actually the fusion of the male gamete, that is the sperm, fuses with the female gamete ova. That is why we call this junction as a very, very important junction of the fallopian tube or the oviduct. Right. Now, the next step in fertilization, the ovum is released by the ovary. That ovum which is released by the ovary, as I said, it is called ovulation, is also transported to the ampullary isthmic junction. So as I said, ampullary isthmic junction is a very, very important region of the fallopian tube where actually the process of fertilization has to take place, right? So here you can come across the ovum is released by the ovary, is also transported to the ampullary isthmic junction where fertilization will take place. And one thing you should remember, fertilization can occur only if the ovum and the sperm are transported simultaneously to the ampullary isthmic junction. If they fail to move to that junction at the same time, then we cannot expect this very important event to happen, that is fertilization. Fertilization will not be successful if the ovum and the sperms are not transported simultaneously to this ampullary isthmic junction of the fallopian tube. What is the next step in fertilization? The ovum is released by the ovary and it is also transported to the ampullary isthmic junction where fertilization will take place. And fertilization can occur only if the ovum and sperms are transported simultaneously to the ampullary isthmic region. Now we'll see what the next very important step. Here you can see in the diagram, right, ovum surrounded by few sperms. Here you can see the ovum having the membranes like zona pellucida and the cells of the corona radiata, and here you can see the sperm gaining its entry into the ovum, right. So here what happens during fertilization, a sperm comes in contact with the zona pellucida of the ovum. So first the sperm will come in contact with the zona pellucida of the ovum, and because of this entry of the sperm towards the zona pellucida, here you can see some changes happening. So changes in the membrane will take place on the ovum so that it can block the entry of the additional sperms. So during fertilization what happens? A sperm comes in contact with the zona pellucida layer of the ovum, and because of this what will happen? There is some changes induced, and this changes in the membrane will lead to what? Will block the entry of the additional sperm. So only one sperm can take its entry into the ovum. Thus only one sperm can fertilize an ovum. So this is the reason why the entry of the additional sperms are blocked by the membrane. So all that changes happen here during the process of fertilization. And hope you remember the structure of the sperm, where we come across the sperm head. The sperm head has a cap-like structure called acrosome. Hope you remember the structure of a sperm, where we discussed the sperm head has a cap-like structure called acrosome, which releases certain lytic enzymes. And these enzymes are very, very important. Here you can come across that when the secretion of the acrosome help the sperm to enter into the cytoplasm of the ovum. Through what? Through zona pellucida. So the acrosome releases what? Lytic enzymes. And this lytic enzymes will help the sperm to enter into the cytoplasm of the ovum through zona pellucida and the plasma membrane, right? Then this induces the secondary oocyte to undergo second meiotic division, which is unequal, as I said, which produces what? Second polar body and an ovum, right? So the next step, what happens in fertilization? Here you can see the diagram, children. Sperm enters the egg and unites with the nucleus. Here you can see the sperm gaining its entry and it is trying to fuse with the nuclei of the female. So what is fertilization? It is nothing but fusion of the male nuclei with the female nuclei, resulting in the formation of a diploid cell called zygote. Hope you remember, we are right from the beginning we are telling we all have started our life as a single cell. Later on we have become multicellular animals, right? So this zygote is formed after the fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete. How actually it happens? So here you can see the haploid nucleus of the sperm and that of the ovum fuse together to form diploid zygote. Hope remember, the ampullary isthmic junction is the junction or the region where the ovum and the sperm meets and fuses, and that fusion will take place leading to the formation of a diploid zygote. But one thing you should remember, that all copulations or all intercourse or coitus will not lead to fertilization and pregnancy. It is luck by chance, like it may take place or it may not take place, because there are so many parameters for the successful process of fertilization to take place. So next here you can see the haploid nucleus of the sperm and that of the ovum fuse together to form a diploid zygote. This is the diagram which shows the transport of ovum, fertilization and passage of the growing embryo through the fallopian tube. This is what is fertilization. Here you can see the ovum is released by the ovary and it goes to the isthmic. As I said, this is what? This is the region which is called ampullary isthmic region, where the fusion will take place, and here you can see the two cells. The fertilized egg divides into two cells, 2 into 4, 4 into 8 cells, and that is what we are going to deal in this, how the embryo develops. Here after fertilization, the zygote travels through the oviduct and begins to divide mitotically. So now we have come across fertilization is a fusion of the male gamete, that is a sperm, with the ovum, resulting in the formation of a zygote. So after fertilization, what is formed? Zygote is formed, and this zygote will travel where? Travel through the oviduct, that is the fallopian tube, and it starts dividing mitotically. And the repeated mitotic division of the zygote is called cleavage. So it will undergo cleavage, right? So here, as a result of cleavage, the divided cells are called as what? Here it is called as blastomeres. So the zygote will undergo what? Repeated mitotic cell division. What do you call that repeated mitotic cell division as? Cleavage. And as a result of cleavage, what is formed? More number of blastomeres are formed, and blastomeres increases to what stage? 32 cell stage called morula. So here you should remember, children, cleavage to morula, morula to blastula, blastula to blastocyst. A very important thing, right? Cleavage to morula, morula to blasto or blastocyst. So 32 cell stage is called morula. So one zygote is a single cell, will divide into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8, 8 into 16. So that you call it as cleavage. Morula is 32 cell stage, and later morula gives rise to what? Blastocyst. A very important concept to be noted. Only when it is transformed into a blastocyst, then it will roll down the oviduct or the fallopian tube and get embedded to the endometrium wall or endometrium lining of the uterus, which we use a word called implantation or pregnancy. So here the blastomeres in the blastocyst are arranged into a very important structure called trophoblast. So the blastomeres in the blastocyst are arranged into an outer layer called trophoblast, and the group of cells attached to the trophoblast is called inner cell mass. So it is this trophoblast of the blastocyst which get attached to the endometrium lining of the uterus, where we call it as implantation, or in simple terms we use the word called pregnancy. So I repeat here what happens actually here in this very important process. Here you can see, after fertilization, the zygote travels through the oviduct and begins to divide mitotically, and the repeated mitotic division of the zygote is called cleavage. As a result of cleavage, the number of blastomeres increases to 32 cells stage called morula, and morula get transformed into what? Blastocyst. And the blastomeres in the blastocyst are arranged into an outer layer called what? Trophoblast. And the group of cells that surround the trophoblast, they are called inner cell mass, which is a very important event called fertilization, right? Now here what happens next? the trophoblast layer gets attached to the endometrium of the uterus. Here you can see in the diagram. Here it gets attached to the endometrium lining of the uterus. See here, this is the ovary. Hope you remember the female reproductive structure. The finger-like projection is called what? Fimbriae, infundibulum, isthmus, ampulla. This is a very, very important junction or a region of the oviduct. It flows like this. The trophoblast goes like this and gets attached to the endometrium wall. And here attached to the endometrium of the uterus, and the inner cells divide rapidly to cover the blastocyst. Right. As a result, here as I said, the blastocyst gets embedded in the endometrium of the uterus and that process of embedding, or what we call the attachment of the blastocyst to the endometrium lining of the uterus, is called implantation, and what we otherwise in other terms use the word called pregnancy. Only when the blastocyst rolls down the fallopian tube, gets attached to the endometrium lining of the uterus, then only we call it as what? Implantation, or in simple terms we say that the female is pregnant. Hope you have understood all these very important events of fertilization. So here you can see in the diagram. So implantation is what? Implantation is attachment of blastocyst to the endometrium wall of the uterus is called implantation, or it is otherwise called pregnancy. And implantation, here you can see the day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. Here you can see the blastocyst stage. I told now the first stage is called cleavage, and the 8-cell stage, then it leads to day 4 called morula. Morula will lead to cleavage will lead to morula. This is the zygote will undergo repeated. Zygote will undergo, here you can see the fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete, and this is called what? This is fertilization. This is fertilization. Zygote is formed. This zygote, as I said, is a single cell which will undergo repeated mitotic cell division. And the first repeated mitotic cell division leads to what? Cleavage. Cleavage will lead into 32 cell stage called morula. Morula into blastula. And as I said, then the blastula will get implanted to the endometrium wall, and this is called implantation. A beautiful diagram to understand this concept, children. What is implantation? Right. Usually implantation takes place on the 7th day of the fertilization. After the 7th day of fertilization, you can expect the implantation to take place, and that is what we call it as pregnancy. Hope you have understood the concepts what we have discussed in this particular very important chapter 3 of your syllabus called human reproduction. So what did we discuss in today's session, children? We discussed about menstrual cycle. What is menstrual cycle? It is a very important reproductive cycle seen in the female primates, which involves 4 very important stages or phases, namely the menstrual phase, the follicular phase, the ovulatory phase, and the luteal phase, followed by the process of fertilization, which leads to the formation of a diploid zygote, which is a single cell which will undergo a series of mitotic cell division to become a multicellular embryo. So it undergoes cleavage, then morula, then blastula, or what we call it as blastocyst, which is characterized by the process of formation of an outer layer called trophoblast and inner cell mass, and the attachment of the trophoblast to the endometrium wall of the endometrium lining of the uterus, which we use a word called implantation or pregnancy. Hope you have understood the concepts what I have discussed in today's class. Moving on to the next session, children, I will be dealing with what is placenta, what is pregnancy, what is embryonic development, what is parturition, and what is lactation. Hope you have understood this chapter 3 of your syllabus called human reproduction. And in the coming session, I will be dealing with a very, very important concept and the final concepts of this chapter called human reproduction, where I will be discussing also about placenta, a maternal connection between the developing fetus and the mother, then the pregnancy, then embryonic development, then parturition and lactation. Till I meet you in the next session, thank you.